Hi, I'm Katie, and this is episode 85 of Ornamentations. It's not Thanksgiving yet, that's later this week, but there's plenty of holiday stitching going on around here. I have a kind of like half holiday, half sharks display going on behind me, which I'll explain in just a second. But for today, I have whips, I have holiday stitching because that's a lot of my whips, although not all. I also have beading and samplers to show you. And then we'll be looking at my year-to-date 12 by 12 ornament finishes. Spoiler alert, it's only November, but there are way more than 12. And then we have some extra bonus finishes later in the episode because my mother will be joining me to share what she's been working on and finishing. And despite all her protests about how slow she stitches, she actually has a lot to show you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So it should be a great episode. I have a kind of non-traditional display behind me. I'm not sure that's really going to focus, but it was a great weekend to be a San Jose Sharks fan because our beloved number 19 Jumbo Joe Thornton got his number retired. So I have a Joe Thornton themed display behind me, but like also some holiday and also some doves because this is Flosstube, not hockey tube. I don't think hockey tube's a thing. But it's been a very difficult few years to be a Sharks fan, and it was awesome to finally have some happy faces going on in teal. So, great weekend, super thrilled. Just had to tell you all because, oh, Joe Pavelski was back in teal, and it just filled my heart with joy. Also, Jumbo crying and watching his number. I cried. We watched the whole ceremony and there were tears, lots of tears from everybody. And I'm gonna cry again thinking about it, so let's move on to stitching. But we will officially start the episode aside from the hockey diversion with a quick episode on holiday kits. The Crystal Dove is completely sold out. These legitimately flew out the door, pun not intended. And I can't thank you enough for your incredible response to the doves. I love them. I wasn't sure how they would really go over, but how they went over was spectacularly. Now, early sellout does mean lots of disappointed customers, which I am sorry for. So I have opened an interest list, which will be linked in the description, where you can sign up with your email and show me that you would like to see the Crystal Doves restocked. The thing about these, and I'm just total transparency from the beginning, no promises on that front, because these guys have just a million bits in them that need to be sourced, kitted, and then assembled into a final kit. It is a crazy amount of work, and I need numbers to make that work. So no promises, but I am going to take a look at that. So if you're interested in seeing the dove come back, please let me know. Sign up for the interest list, which is linked in the description. What I do still have a lot of are the Prairie Schooler Santa kits. If you would like a classic ornament for your tree, if you've been enjoying fall and you're just starting to think about holiday stitching, which, you know, totally fair. Not everyone is a holiday nut like I am. This is a classic, and full details in the description. Basically, it comes with everything but the chart, and it does include those great little sequins, which just give it a little extra special touch for your tree. I don't have my decorations up yet. I always decorate the first week of December. This has just been up for like 2 months now, so that doesn't count. But the next time I see you, I will be filming in front of my tree. I'm very excited to share that with you. My holiday episodes are always some of my favorite floss tubes. I just love this time of the year. And then speaking of, before we get to some of my not holiday stitching, which I'll do a little later because those are under whips, we're gonna look at finishes, and that will be in the context of my year-to-date 12 by 12 ornament review. So as you know, if you've been following along on my channel, and if not, and you're new, welcome. Super glad to have you here. I joined a start along with my buddy Laura at the start of the year. We pledged to stitch one ornament for every month in the year to have lots of new ornaments to have at Christmas. I couldn't finish that thought, dear. Oh, Flosstube might be cursed. Anyways, Laura went off and did her serial starter thing, but I have continued with the 12 by 12, and it's only November, but I have ended up with way more than 12 ornaments because 2 of them were the prototype and the model for my crystal dove, and as you know, I just kept on going. So we're just going to knock off 2 months right there with my fistful of doves. I actually made 14 this year. Yeah, I know I have a problem, but I finally put the materials away, mostly because I needed the desk space back and not because I'm actually sick of making doves. They are addictive. And then another one of my 12 by 12 ornament finishes was the model for the Prairie Schooler Santa kit, still available, which we just saw. But before we get into older months, we are going to look at my new finishes for Little Nick and Cookie Claus, the new charts from Not Forgotten Farms. I told you we'd have a Santa beauty pageant where we can contrast and compare my various finishes, and oh yeah, we've got one because I have worked multiple versions. I've finally decided on the model, but I'm going to show you everything that I've been doing, and you can tell me in the comments whether or not you think I got the right one. As part of the coming kits, which will be next year, I think for Christmas in July, I won't make you wait too long, I will include all details on past finishes, what I did. The 2 variables are really the red and the linen it was stitched on. I settled on all the other colors in the kit pretty quickly, so it's not like you would buy a kit and then change everything about it. But if there was some earlier version that you liked and you'd like to stitch, you'll also have the details on that, and there wouldn't be much that was actually different from the kit contents. So, hold on. I'm in kind of a weird setup today because I'm trying to show you my doves and my jumbo tribute. Hold on, hold please. I'm not well prepared for this. Okay, so last time I had my first Little Nick, which was done in a bright juicy red on wild honey. Oh, this is going to be interesting. The camera doesn't like this dual focus thing. There we go. Okay, this guy, bright juicy red, wild honey, no fluffy beard, and then I gave him a crystal drop embellished ornament hanger. This is a tutorial I have. I'll link that in the description. A lot of you mentioned that you really liked the juicy red and you were a fan of this one, but you did think you needed the fluffy sparkle beard. I listened to you, don't worry. So one of my concerns about this was that the red detracted from the little round crystals. Those will be included in the kit. To me, those are a feature. If you've never seen those, they're truly beautiful and I just love them. So my thought, which was a little missing the forest for the trees in retrospect, was that I would go to a more faded red. You saw this one last time as well. And okay, now we're focusing. So I added the sparkly beard. The crystals do come to the fore a little more. I do like this guy a whole lot. I love the Fuller's Teasel. I decided on that for the linen. And then I also added this fabulous peppermint crystal hanger. I will do add-ons for the kits. Every kit will include the crystals used on the actual stitch, but the crystal hangers will be an optional beading add-on. They do add to the cost, but oh my gosh, is that awesome or what? I might do this for all of my ornaments I stitched this year. But, you know, as much as I liked this, I knew I wasn't quite there yet. So I decided that I was maybe missing the forest for the trees, worrying too much about how the small red crystals would pop on the finish, and then I reverted to the bright juicy red with a super fluff, super sparkle, super prominent beard. And then I also added just little seed beads for eyes. Otherwise the colors are the same. The only thing that's different here are a few added extras in the red. I am going to add the crystal hanger to this guy as well. This is the model. I have made my decision. I think this is the guy. Sorry that he won't focus. Okay, there, this is the guy, but I'm out of beads, and so those should be arriving today. Next time I'll show you my finish. So that's the little neck. I do like the previous versions as well. They will make great Christmas gifts, but you know, there's a kind of nailed it finish feeling when you are looking at the right finish, and I knew that this was the right finish. I just love what that juicy red does for this. And so this is the final conversion. These guys, these are the other reds that I played with. I'm gonna insert a photo here of the experiment with the faded red, which I frogged because, as you can see, it can't stand up against the brown. It's interesting, they're just too close in value. So when you look at it against the bright red, the brown is just there as supporting trim. It doesn't jump out at you in the same way. So, yep, again, another way I knew I got that one right. And then I did also work on cookie claws, and I have 3 of those to show you, all of which are new. So the first one was the more faded red on Wild Honey with some fuzzy stuff for her hair, and then I finished her in an oval shape like the model. I really liked that, and then it gave her a full round edging. Now, I don't think I will be able to offer kits for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish her model as a rectangle as well, and then just do the hanger, because if we did full kits for this, the beading add-on would be at least 50 bucks. I mean, does anyone really want to do that? I get kind of spoiled by having a wholesale account and just lots and lots of sparkles hanging around. It is awesome though. I mean, oh my gosh, is that gonna look fantastic on a tree? So I used Bijoux for my dark color here, and it never really shows up on camera, but that's what the stitching looks like it does on the spool. So you've got just this little extra bit of sparkle on both finishes. So when I did this, I knew that Wild Honey, again, sorry about the focus issues here, Wild Honey wasn't the one. So I put that away. I went back to Fuller's Teasel. I was still on the faded red thing, and then I did another version, again, not the model. I'm going to that really strong red for this. Oh, please focus. Please, 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 please. Okay. And apparently the camera just needs to think about that. And again, did the oval finish, and my etching isn't finished. As I said, I'm out of beads. There are more out for delivery. But it gives you a look into how I did this. I will do a tutorial next year. I won't get to it this year. But so what I do is I make a loop at the end. I'm using very fine gauge wire here. This is a 32 gauge. A 30 would also work really well. You want to go as fine as possible if you're using clear beads so that you're not seeing the wire inside it. You need the wire for stability so that this stays in a even line. But you don't want to see it. You want to see that clear crystal. So I looped the wire, I tacked it down on the back, all the way to the bottom, and then I started threading on beads, and I just take a stitch in between each bead to secure it to the edge. And so then here you can see I've got my wire piece, and I'm going to finish this off by threading on more beads and stitching them on. I'm using Soie Surfine here and a number 10 milliner's needle. So that's my in-process crystal edging on. Oh, man, it looks awesome. And I'm using the most beautiful beads here, these fabulous ovals. I just love that, and I wish you could see the sparkle in person. So I am going to do 2 models for Cookie Claws. One with the oval beaded finish. I'll tell you how to do it. You can source materials if you really want to go whole hog. And then I will do a rectangle as the official model with a beaded hanger, and those will be the beading add-ons. So this is Cookie Claws stitched and blocked, but not yet fully embellished. So she's missing her fuzzy hair, she's missing her beaded eyes, her crystal berry in her hair, and so that I am going to do later today. But she looks pretty awesome. Another reason I love the Fuller's Teasel is that you can actually see her without the fuzzy stuff. It adds so much to have that. I mean, can you see how that just pops her out like crazy? But it's not absolutely essential that you do it, and that's definitely not the case with the wild honey. It just disappears. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I'll show you the full lineup next time when they're all fully finished, but those are my November ornaments. And then I also did another ornament. I just could not resist. So this one has been finished but not FFO'd. It's going to get an edging. And this is the Elizabeth Cheavins pinwheel by Fox and Rabbit, which was from their sampler box. I believe this was exclusive to the box, so I didn't pull the chart for the sampler to show you because that's just teasing. Anyways, so everything for this was included in the box. The chart, all the finishing materials for the pinwheel, the pins, the rickrack, the threads, the linen, absolutely everything. But I chose 46 count for my box, and I knew that I wanted to have a little fun with Bijoux and Gobelins for this, which is more suited to a lower count. So I took a remnant of wild honey, picked out some silks. I will list all of these in the description for this episode, just because is that a gorgeous collection of colors or what? And I just stitched this up and finished it as an ornament, because this might not be the most traditional Christmas thing, but red, green, pink, a little sparkle, I think that's gonna look amazing on a tree. So what this is finished front and back. I added a little Soie metallic braid in this great like multicolor. The color is 447. I'll put that in the description as well. This is beautiful. It just goes with everything. But I want to add a briolette edging to this, and I will film myself doing that. So before I see you again for my next Flosstube, I am going to have a tutorial on adding a briolette edging to your piece. The technique is the same whether you're doing it on a hard edge like an ornament, I lace this over mat board, or on a soft edge like cardinal kin, which you can't really see behind me. But those are my most recent 12 by 12 finishes, and then I'm going to pause, move a few things around, and we'll look at past 12 by 12 finishes. Okay, so rundown of some past ornaments for the 12 by 12. I can't actually remember the order in which I did them, so I just pulled them out. I know which ones were the 12 by 12, and I'm just going to show them in whatever order. We are going to start with one that was definitely recent. This is the Chimney Santa by Not Forgotten Farm. And the conversion for this was published in a recent episode, which I'll link in the description. It's on Legacy Linen 37 count smoke signal. And this is the soft metallic cord, which I love, again in Renaissance gold. The combination of gold and black just works with everything. I can't get enough of that stuff. So this guy was really fun, super, super quick. great gift idea, whether you're using called for threads or my silk conversion or your own conversion or whatever. Super quick, super easy, super fun, great little finish for your tree or for a friend's tree. Also in the Not Forgotten Farms category, Holly Jolly, this was stitched on Legacy Linen 5363 Sandcastle with Soie Surfing, and again, okay, there we go. I accented it with 2mm crystal pearls, color rouge, and this also was an original silk conversion, which with Soie Surfing, which I will post in the description. I'll post the link to the original in the description. This I also really enjoyed on the 5363. It is a perfect ornament size. That turned out so cute, and I love the funky letters. Really fun. I've just been enjoying Not Forgotten Farms more than I can tell you. And then I also did 2 Prairie Schooler Santas for my 12x12 this year. One was the current kit release, which we already looked at, and then one was the, I don't know, I actually don't know what year this was, but I'll link that in the description. I did the edging instead of running stitch. I did a favorite trick of mine, which is I used size 15 cut beads. So it's a cylindrical hex that's faceted, and so it's got this little sparkle. On a 38 count, this is 38 count Legacy Linen Wayfarer's Cloak, just like my kit release, it just about perfectly substitutes for the over 2 running stitch. It's a really nice detail to add. And then these both have the fuzzy sparkly beards that I've been doing on my Prairie Schooler Santas, as well as, oops, put this out of the way, all of my little nicks and cookie claws. Whole lot of Not Forgotten Farms here, which is not surprising. I absolutely love their stuff. And then my last cross stitch finish for the 12x12, because I also love wool felt applique, as you know, especially if it's been sparklified. This is Brenta Gervais Snow Magical. Here I also used my embellished ornament hanger tutorial, which I will link in the description. And the conversion for this will also be linked in the description. This is on Fox and Rabbit 40 count Ocean Air. I did an original conversion with Gobelins, and then I over accented with some really fun sequins. I do have a tutorial for adding sequins to your cross stitch, and I'll link that in the description too. This guy is really fun. I love pops of blue, aqua, pink, non-traditional, kind of like vintage 50s Christmas colors. So much fun. So I'm going to enjoy adding this guy to the tree when I put it up next week. So soon. And then I also have 3 embellished wool applique ornaments. This guy is a Santa from What a Curly Life. It was a free pattern. Again, I had to put sparkles on his beard. Fun little guy. And then 2 from the Cheswick Company. This is the Christmas goose. He is mohair. Look at that face, and then his fun wings. He's just great. I love the Cheswick Company. Just can't recommend their kits and patterns enough. And then their 2023 special ornament, the otter. He had a name. Whiskers, the 2023. It was a I think 20th anniversary of the Cheswick Company last year. So they put out the special ornament Whiskers and his pearl. He's a big guy, so he's gonna have to go on the tree early this year, but that's fine. And then an oldie but a goodie that I've mentioned a lot of times and wanted to share. I found him when I was digging all these guys out of my ornament boxes. Is favorite Cheswick ornament that I've mentioned frequently and several people have asked about. This is Pooh Bear from the 100 Acre Woods series, and my mom made him for me as a Christmas gift a couple years ago. So one, look at that face, that not in focus face. But trust me, he's so cute. One of my all-time favorites. So if you would like to try the Cheavins company, then I can't recommend Pooh Bear enough. So I hope that gave you some ideas for upcoming holiday stitching, something that you would like to stitch. And then I'm going to pause this, clear away my pile of ornaments, and we're gonna look at my whips. Oops, I lied to you. One more finish. I had Flag Thief come back from framing. This was done by Ramona at Bennett Gallery, who's been recommended by Brenda, and I really enjoyed working with her. She's super responsive, very easy to work with. They did a beautiful job, really quick, very reasonably priced, and I would definitely recommend working with them. It was interesting to pick out a frame over the photo. I think I would have chosen something a little different in terms of scale if I had seen this in person, so I have to adjust to working virtually for framing, but it turned out beautifully. This is Flag Thief, which is so petite once it's framed, but small but mighty. So I normally get museum glass, but because this won't be out all year and I wanted to get maximum effect on the sequins, I went for no glass on this guy, and then it's got a dark contrast frame, which I think works really well. I had it framed pretty tight so that you get the maximum effect of all this concentrated color, which I think is what's great about this pattern. And then, yes, if I had been, I think, selecting this in person, I would have gone for a chunkier frame. I didn't quite appreciate the scale in the photo, but that's not a knock on Bennett Gallery, just to be clear. That was my own, like I wasn't seeing that correctly. But so fabulous. Absolutely love how this turned out. This will be the summer 2025 Flosstube kit coming to you next year, and I know you guys are going to enjoy Flag Thief as much as I did, because this is a beautiful stitch and a beautiful finish. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? It's glorious. I have to say, Paulette manages to pack so much into what's a relatively small design area, because that's not big, but that took me a hot minute to stitch. And then actual whips. So the first is my ongoing Santa stitch, Elizabeth Campbell by Fox and Rabbit, and oh boy, do I have progress. I'm still on the border, but look at that. I've gone all the way around the top, I've closed the corner, and even more importantly, that border met up perfectly. I did not want to work ahead, but last night I was looking at this, I was like, no, you're too close. You have to just be an adult. Go ahead and see if that joins up, and it did. I didn't even have to fudge it. I am ridiculously proud of myself over that, and doesn't that look awesome? So I'm trying to just put a couple of full days in on this in a 2-week period, and that does enable me to make some good progress. This is Flosstube on Legacy Linen, 48 count March Pain, and the conversion is incomplete, but it will one day be complete, and oh, it just looks amazing. I love it. Then the other whip we're going to look at is that I do have progress on my beaded basket, although disclaimer to start with, this is not a class, this will not be a tutorial, this is just something that I do for myself. So let's take a look at where the beaded basket is at. Tray's heavy. I was pulling out more beads to work with, and now I'm regretting that. Okay, I'm gonna knock over the tree. So we're just gonna look at this section right here. So the yellow's coming in a big way. So last time or the time before, I showed you my first daffodil, and I talked about how miserable the tubular right angle weave that makes up the trumpet of the daffodil was, how I had had this earlier design idea. Why didn't I just do that? I was going to do that. That was definitely easier. Okay, famous last words. That was not easier. The results were absolutely spectacular, but daffodil number 3 in this grouping is going to go back to this, because this guy, oh, it's the bane of my existence, looks absolutely fabulous, and even more so in person, where you can really appreciate the sparkle and the texture. But my idea here was to do the trumpet in separate pieces in peyote stitch in like the world's tiniest beads. Those are so small. Hold please. Beads relative to a normal spool of thread. Scale here is crazy. And then I wanted to do layered petals flanking it. So I was going to do a top row of double right angle weave. That's what you see on top. And then on the bottom, we've got just the basic peyote stitch petals, like I did on my other daffodil. They look amazing. They might have been an absolute misery to make, but aren't they stunning? So my idea here was that just working right angle weave in the flat petals would be easier than the tubular trumpet. Okay, totally wrong, because while you don't have the misery of joining that up at the back to create the tubular structure, you're doing way more double right angle weave with very small beads, which is a terrible idea. So I have this one deeply spectacular, oh, it does look amazing, daffodil. And then I'm going to go back to this for my third one, which is going to be a bit larger. I like to have them kind of varied in size. And then I do actually have 4 different shades of yellow beads in here, although I'm not sure that comes across very well on camera. And then before I went back to the misery that was this, I decided it was time to add some leaves, because you have to work all the leaves as you're doing the flowers. Otherwise, you just have misery, a million years of working leaves at the end. So I started testing some different greens. I went for, please focus, one that was very yellow green, because it just plays so well off the rich yellow of the daffodils. So I have a sample leaf in a much more blue green. And can you see how that's pretty? But it just doesn't make the yellow sing in the same way that that yellow green does. So I've started another leaf, but it's only half done because I decided it was a good idea to use the world's tiniest beads, legitimately some of the smallest ones I've ever worked with. So that leaf might actually take me a month. That was bad. This daffodil bunching is cursed. It's just one series of bad decisions after another. But what I do have is pretty stinking amazing, so I'm gonna keep going. And that is my beaded basket progress. I haven't had a lot of time for beading recently. I've really spent a lot more time with ornaments, with shipping out doves. Oh, boxes were such a bad idea. That's way more shipping work, but I hope you all are enjoying your doves as much as I have, because I just love those. And then one other thing I wanted to mention to you is Kiana case. So I use a jewelry case from the brand Kiana as my everyday stitching case. It is, in my opinion, just perfect. You've got this little pouch in the bottom, which is where I keep different kinds of needles so that I'm never without. And then it's perfect depth to just throw a bunch of spools in there. And then I've got scissors in the top. These are my white cream-handled Golden Forge scissors, which Kathy Ray of Needle in a Haystack lasered my cipher onto. So that's a signature pair, and that's what lives in my case. And a friend brought this to my attention, and I thought I should share. they've gone and changed their case. Shame on you, Kiana. This actually might be more to some people's taste than my own, but they took the same thing and then they made it much deeper. Since the size was one of the things I liked most about it, so now it would be more like, I think, yay big, it's now been super sized. Bummer. I've only got the one in the old size, but thankfully I can attest that their products wear really well. I have a tote from the same brand that's been my daily bag for the last 5-6 years, and it looks as good as the day I bought it. So if you've got a case, don't worry. I think that'll last a lifetime. But I do get asked about that one a fair amount, so I wanted to share. They've changed the product. Boo. I do not have any haul. You know, I've just been sitting around doing 10 million variations on Cookie Claws and Little Nick and enjoying myself hugely. I did purchase some crystals to go ahead and finish those off, but they're not actually here yet, so that doesn't count as haul. So no haul. And that actually is everything that I have for my portion of the episode. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on my mom. And we're back with my one and only very favorite special guest, my mom, Trisha. Welcome to the channel, Mom.
Hi, everyone.
And we've got our matching teen teal sweaters on to celebrate Joe Thornton.
It wasn't even planned. That's what's funny. We both put them on today.
It happens a lot in our world, actually. We just buy the same things and then end up wearing, you know, our matching jackets too, which we always seem to have on at the same occasion.
Talk about that. It's kind of weird.
So Mom is here with us to share some of her recent finishes. She's actually got quite a lot, and we're going to start with what was a whip the last time you were on the channel. Tell us about your table runner.
I made a table runner, and it didn't really start that way, but it became a commemoration of my 50th wedding anniversary, my husband and I. And then, so I started personalizing some things there. Katie and her brother have their initials here, and these are the initials of my parents and my husband's parents, and it has our wedding, our initials, our wedding date, and then a saying that I thought was appropriate. It's not how long you've been together, it's how much you love each other every day. I just thought that was a nice anniversary saying.
Very
so
beautiful.
It's finally done and finished.
And we've got some beautiful silk satin on the backing.
Yes.
So you just did a simple rolled over edge there, and then
there's some interfacing
it
in there, and slipped on a satin lining. And I think it won't be displayed until after Christmas Madness gets put away.
Yeah, the colors aren't quite Christmassy, but it is beautiful. And so this is adapted from Gentle Pursuit Designs and Wilson 8201. The conversion has been shared in past episodes. It hasn't changed, but I will post it again in case you are inspired and would like to create your own piece.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I ended up really loving the Quaker medallions. I think I might do some of those in the future. I really like them.
You could do the Simple Harmony box.
I could. You know, I'll put it in queue.
And then after that, you had another finish, also on Legacy Linen 37 count Russian tea cake.
This was Katie's project from summer school in August, and LR's Lucretia Robinson, my great-great-grandmother. So I thought it was wonderful that Katie did a talk about women through the ages and how we're remembered through our stitching. And then I added my initials on the back, which wasn't actually Katie's design. I think you had her birth date on the back.
No, it was the year that she would have made Thomas's housewife when he went off to war, 1863. That was when he enlisted, and I believe that the sewing kit that she made for him was made in 1863. So this was my imagined piece to commemorate her, since we did Thomas for summer school the previous year, and I wanted to talk about his other half, Lucretia, this year. So how'd you like stitching it?
Oh, I thought it was wonderful, and I think it was one of the first designs that you have charted yourself, which I thought was really neat too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to commemorate my grandmother.
Yeah. A few other people have already finished this as well. They've put their own initials in place of Lucretia's. Obviously we did it because she's actually our ancestor, so I did include a full charted alphabet and encouraged people to personalize it to their own family stories, but we obviously share the same family story, so hers looks a lot like mine.
And the colors are beautiful.
Oh yeah,
so
them. They were taken from, you may have heard this already, but they were taken from Lucretia and Thomas's China wedding anniversary, Haviland China. I just laid spools on top of the China, which was lent to me by your favorite cousin, and picked colors that matched, which thankfully existed, and they made for a lovely design.
Yeah, so. I enjoyed doing it. I thought it was wonderful that you had honored her.
Well, made possible by her mother's had a interest in family history and left a lot of information behind for me to follow.
Yes.
And
that not always the case.
No, not at all. It was
which was part of what you mentioned in your talk.
Yeah, a lot of people told me afterwards, or mentioned in the comments since, that they haven't thought to look into family history until it was too late. The people that they would want to talk to and ask questions of were gone. So it was really nice that Mimi, my grandmother, had really left records behind for us to look into. It would have been a lot harder without everything that she memorialized for me to then go further with.
Well, and you also emphasized that it's important for us to record on our stitching what year was made, maybe why we made it, and
yeah. Well, I mean, I think you did a great job of that with your table runner, because it tells a story about you, but it also inherently tells the story of how and why it was made, because it references anniversary, love, family, and has the date it was actually made, as well as initials. Having family initials, so like on Scottish samplers, has really helped a lot of researchers in tracking down who the correct girl was. It can help you narrow down a common name to who had those particular sets of family members using family initials. So that is definitely a piece that tells the story too. A lot of family history is our theme so far, although I think we're moving into Christmas. Tell me about your next finish.
Definitely. Well, I made this for a friend who's had a very hard year. This is Katie's Dove kit, which many of you will recognize. And it was really fun. I enjoyed making it, and I hope it'll be nice for her. I'm going to give it to her as soon as she puts up her Christmas tree. She's had a very difficult year, and hopefully it'll be something fun and sparkly.
So what did you think about making it?
Oh, I enjoyed it. And Katie's instructions, as always, are perfect.
They're very detailed, which I think scared a few people, but it does actually help you.
Well, it's good though. Sometimes you need it. You know, for some of it, you maybe don't need the depth. But a couple of things I was happy to have, how the beads should be lined up.
Yeah.
And it came together perfectly. So
glad to hear it. Well, you know, I always know what my own experience is in working and designing these things, and you hope that you can translate that for another person to be able to work and enjoy successfully, but you never actually know until it happens. So that's Mom's Crystal Dove, and you worked this really quickly.
Pretty good for me, because I tend to be kind of slow.
Oh, look at all these finishes. You're so slow. So
well, the Christmas is coming. I had to get going.
That's true. And you have another kit as well for your Crystal Dove.
Yes.
Which you haven't started.
Which I haven't started yet. However, I did start Katie's
Prairie Schooler Santa.
Prairie Schooler
the 2023, I think.
I start to call it a sampler. Samplers on the brain here.
Yeah.
So here I am, and it's underway. I've only worked on it a couple nights, so it's coming along nicely.
They stitch up really quickly.
They do.
And how are you liking it?
Oh, fun. I'm just looking at yours, trying to think how many sequins I might put on. And
There are extras in the kit, so I only used 3, but I think there are like 5 to 6 in every kit.
yeah,
so
I
you
like
can
your finish. That looks really
add
nice.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Prairie Schooler Santa kit's available on the
A
website.
very fun one.
Oh, yeah. And we were going to look at some of your past Prairie Schooler Santas.
So since we were on Prairie Schooler theme, I got out a few of the ones that I could find. Because I love Prairie Schooler too. We all
We all love Prairie Schooler. So this has actually been seen on the channel before. You were working this in a previous appearance.
did it last
and This
year.
was, I think, one of the old world
Yes,
Santas.
it is. It's one of the older ones.
Yeah. So she did use fuzzy stuff here successfully for the trim. It is a wider trim, so you can do it. It's not quite as super fluff as the larger beards, but it is still really fun. I'm a evangelist for fuzzy stuff.
And then I used some like sheep's wool, which I don't know, it doesn't stand out as much as yours. I'm not sure it's as good, but his beard is from some craft sheep. I think it's sheep's wool, isn't it?
It's some curly stuff in a bag that I swear you've had since the 90s.
Well, it's now on my Prairie Schooler.
So this is an original silk conversion that my mom did. I didn't do it. She is spreading her wings with picking colors in silk, and it's on Legacy Linen 37 count Russian tea cake, as are Lucretia Robinson's needle book and her table runners. It's a favorite color of mine
A
and
recurring
of yours.
theme.
Yeah. We're very predictable in our taste, I think. Like we just kind of tend towards. Yeah. And then tell me about this guy.
I can't even remember how long ago I did that one, but I like his beard. Can you see? Does that come through on camera?
There we go. So you did, oh yeah, this is a needlepoint stitch. This is alternating long and short stitches, and I think you've got some kind of wool here.
Honestly, don't remember because this was done quite a while ago, but I did go through a period where I was doing some needlepoints. I think that's one that must have been done.
Yeah, so this looks like it's mostly called for, but with some extra accents, the metallic braid belt, and then there's some wool to give him a fuzzy and textured beard. You can translate needlepoint stitches to cross stitch if you have a larger area to work over.
Yeah, especially like a beard.
It's a great place to just try it out because, you know, you don't lose anything. If you look at it, you don't like it, then you rip it out and you do cross stitches in its place. But if you like it, you can get some really fun effects as seen on, oh yeah, we've got some other fun beards here. Tell me about this guy.
Oh, I think that's probably fuzzy stuff, huh? It looks like it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think mine is quite as neat as Katie. That's an untrimmed beard. That's a Joe Thornton beard.
Well, I mean, it doesn't go out quite as much as his jumbo beard.
It's like messy side.
It's his early years of the beard before he fully went all the way.
But that was the first Prairie Schooler I ever did, and I just loved it because of the sewing machine and the scissors.
This one is a classic.
One of my favorites.
And then this guy.
Oh, because I like beards. Beards. Beards on the brain. I like birds. So that was why I did that one. I love the little blue bird.
Yeah, this is a great one. Can you remember the name of this pattern?
No. But I could pull it out of my stash. I
Yeah.
remember that one.
And then, oh, so fitting to end her
perfect.
finishes with.
Another shark hockey theme.
We're all obsessed. So tell me about the changes you made to this from the chart.
So the chart was probably the typical
It's red, yeah.
red, but I had to do it in teal because that's our favorite hockey team. So we've got all the colors of the San Jose Sharks.
And I think you've got a
He's
puck
got a
there
He's got
in
a teal
his
puck.
little bag instead of whatever was charted there. And oh,
there's another
with
one
the stick.
Yep.
And the skates, although
And we've got the tail on the back, so you know we had to go the full shark on this one.
you know what, it's very fitting for this particular
Right now,
weekend
yeah,
because
it is.
did you enjoy the retirement ceremony?
I did.
Yeah, I cried.
Very much so.
It was a great time. So this is our shark-loving Prairie Schooler Santa. This is always given a prominent spot on the
It
tree.
just shows you can do other things with Prairie Schooler too, because it's such a
Absolutely.
great basic design and you can personalize them.
You can. So a viewer did one of, not this guy, the other Prairie Schooler Santa I showed you earlier in the episode. She really liked the bright green I had used for the trim. So she made a green Santa. She emailed me a photo not too long ago. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
So if red is what speaks to you, you can always do red, or you can commemorate your hockey team, or pull the green out and reverse your color scheme. Can confirm that looks absolutely amazing. But yes, right now we're really feeling the teal. We've got sweaters, we've got ornaments, we've got a display behind us with shark memorabilia. You know,
And everybody's
we
going to
should
get
be doing the Mom, do you want to join in?
No, the chomp.
Okay,
No,
with chomp? No? Okay.
We should give him a break from shark hockey.
Whatever, it's my Flosstube channel. They can turn me off if they don't like the
true.
hockey talk.
This is-
But you know, it was topical. Oh, and we did forget a whip.
Oh yes, I did have. I started this before the Christmas fun started, but I haven't gotten too far. But I am doing a sampler from Fox and Rabbit because I saw this is on display at the attic, and I have admired it a couple of times. So I finally decided I had to do it.
Yeah.
So got the chart this summer, and
Yeah, this is
started.
on Fox and Rabbit white clay, which was what we got for our summer school project, and then an original silk conversion, which is just starting. But do you want to hold that up again and show them what you've done?
Yes, I just started on the center flower.
Yeah, did a center top start.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful. So longer term projects, you'll have to come
Definitely.
back and show us what you're doing with this.
Progress. Maybe later in the year.
You know, it'll be fun.
And,
Enjoy it. So this is Margaret Lighter Gertrude by Fox and Rabbit. Beautiful, beautiful Scottish sampler, and you'll have to come back in a future episode and share your full conversion when you have it. We have picked a fair number of the colors, but they haven't been stitched yet, so.
It's just in its infancy. It'll take a while.
But it's gonna look great when it's done. You can show Karen and Brett at summer school this year your progress.
Definitely.
It'll be great. So, anything else you would like to share with Flosstube while you're
I
here?
think that's all I've got.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on the channel. So that brings us to the close of this episode. For next time, we are going to have the start of the holiday extravaganza that is Katie's Christmas floss tubes. My decorations will be up. I will be filming in front of my tree, and we're going to see just how many crystals I can stuff onto whatever I've been stitching, because that's how I roll,
She does.
and it'll definitely be holiday themed. So we're gonna have sparkle, we're gonna have ornaments, we're gonna have a tree. It's going to be great. Make sure you tune in. There is also going to be a tutorial on brulette edgings up before my next floss tube, so make sure you watch for that. It's seen here on Cardinal Kin. Kits are still available for this, as well as the Prairie Schooler Santa, the Wonderful Life Pin Keep Drum seen behind me in this episode, and Chocolate Hearts, all on my website. But until then, please have the happiest of happy Thanksgivings if you're celebrating here in America. I know our Canadian friends have already celebrated Thanksgiving, but if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving with family, friends, and those you love. We're going to be together on Thanksgiving, eating our famous family recipe for pie from my great-grandmother and your grandmother, Sadie Bray, who was a wonderful baker, and some of you I know are making it as well. It was included in the Thomas kits. But Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Happy Thanksgiving and happy stitching.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.